While much of the U.S. was focused on violence in Syria and Boston last month, attacks were soaring in Iraq. The United Nations is now reporting that April was the deadliest month there since June of 2008. In a report out today, the UN says attacks killed 712 people in Iraq in April, and that includes 117 members of Iraqi security forces. Interestingly, the Associated Press has a different number, recording only 400 deaths last month. Experts say casualty tolls vary because official reports often differ from local police and hospital accounts. Nevertheless, the numbers underscore a growing concern that security is rapidly deteriorating in Iraq.
And joining us now is Dr. Waleed Phares. He's the author of the book, The Coming Revolution, The Struggle for Freedom in the Middle East. Waleed, some say that the situation in Syria is similar to the one in Iraq before the U.S. invasion there. Do you see that comparison?
Yes, of course. It is similar in the sense that there is a confrontation between two camps now. One is the regime, which is backed in this case by Iran and Hezbollah. And then you have the opposition. And the opposition has two components. One is secular, and the other one is Islamist and jihadist. And one other similarity are the Christian minorities and other ethnic minorities. They have suffered in Iraq, and they are now suffering in Syria. The difference is that there are no foreign forces, there are no American forces or NATO forces ready to invade Syria in this case. That's why the conflict seems to be, getting longer and longer on the ground.
Waleed, now with the talk that chemical weapons might be involved in Syria, how much U.S. involvement do you think should take place in Syria?
The Obama administration, unfortunately, missed to act in Syria when it had the capacity of our troops in Iraq. We withdrew from Iraq at the end of 2011 without dealing with the Assad regime. So now, since 2012 and over the past few months, Iran, through Iraq, has been supporting the Assad regime. Hezbollah, through Lebanon, has been intervening in Syria. And unfortunately, Al-Qaeda and jihadi-linked groups are now making progress within the opposition. So what can the United States do now is going to be very difficult because we lack a regional alliance with us that is ready to move with us. And most importantly, we lack a partner within the Syrian opposition. We have not identified the secular moderate elements so far and supported them.
Now, there is some worry that the aid money given to rebels will fall into the hands of extremists from Hezbollah or Al-Qaeda. Is that a legitimate threat?
It's a very legitimate threat. If we throw the aid to Syrian opposition without making sure that we have identified who is with us, who are our partners, what is their project for the future, we may end up arming either Hezbollah on the one hand or Al-Qaeda on the other hand, as you said.
Do you think there's an end in sight to the civil war?
The fight, and this is bad news, may get also into Iraq and into Lebanon by the same forces fighting in Syria. And thirdly, there may be regions now seceding in Syria. If Damascus fall, Assad is not going to quit Syria. He's going to go to the Alawi land in the northwest. So it's a long, protracted conflict as long as the administration did not make a choice to intervene firmly.
All right. Waleed Phares, we thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.